Well, so an interesting turn of events. Yesterday, when picking up the kids from school, got the news that the ex finally got a job. Starts today. I think it's today. And it it's interesting because I remember that when this whole thing first happened, one of the things that I really wanted was her to stop living off of me. And initially I thought that was going to happen. I'm like, okay, you're going to have to get a job. The free ride is over. And as you guys know, that wasn't the case, right? I mean, I pretty much the free ride has been going on for the last 7 years, almost 8 now. And I was really, really angry about that in the beginning of this. Whenever I realized that she wasn't going to work and I was still going to have to pay her, and just to be clarified, this isn't about skirting my obligations or yes, I had the kids too, and I'm responsible too. But I mean, it's just more of when you realize that your trust has been violated for over 2 decades, that everything was an illusion and that you were basically being used. And I mean, for the longest time, I remember telling her, I would say, I feel like I'm just a paycheck. I feel like I'm just a checkbook to you. And whenever that realization is proven, it's really tough and you want it to stop. And this is no different than any other hot button issue that is important to you. I mean, it could be if you want the other parent to actually be actively involved and they refuse, and every time you turn around, they're on their way to the Galapagos Islands or something. It's going to frustrate you. It's, especially if you're struggling trying to help, or not help the kids, but, take care of the kids, and the other person is doing whatever the heck they want. It's like another slap in the face. It's like this continual body slam. And I really struggled with this. I mean, it was the source of a lot of bitterness, a lot of anger. I remember for the first 2 years, I would constantly tell her, I'm coming for you, because the attorney had told me that, after a couple of years, we could go back and lower it if she didn't work. So I was like, I had like a timer set. And at the 2-year mark is whenever she decided to better herself and go back to school, which is great. Everyone should go to school. But it wasn't about that, right? I mean, it was just about how to maximize this. And I remember at the 2-year mark, I had talked to the attorney and said, hey, she's going back to school. And he's like, oh man, she's got an attorney. Someone gave her, that was good advice. You're hosed. And I'm like, what? It's like, oh yeah, if she's bettering herself, a judge isn't going to lower anything. California has since changed. They don't care. It's like get a damn job and do your part, which is kind of nice. I didn't push for that, so but that's another 2 years down the road. So my point of all this, you can be like, okay, so what's the point? The point is, early on in this, I was so frustrated, and had she gotten a job or done something, I would have been immediately ready to fight it. And I know damn good and well she's not going to. I mean, even now, I would be shocked if I connect with her and say, hey, you're working now, so let's do a stipulated change to readjust child support to what it should be. I would be, like I said, I would be shocked if she says, okay. More than likely it's going to be, why, how dare you waste our money to go back to court? It'll be some stupid shaming thing like that. And maybe I'll talk about that in another video or whatever I decide to do on that. But My point is that, so 7 years later, something that I was so adamant that I wanted her to have to like engage in the real world. Like a lot of you guys and gals are dealing with life. You don't have somebody paying your way. You don't have somebody making your life easy. You have the complete opposite. And then if you're trying to work, then you're also dealing with that. You're dealing with going to work and child obligations and doctor's appointments and award ceremonies and trying to make sure you don't get fired in the process. And it's just part of life. And I remember thinking, I always wanted her to have to deal with that, right? Have to deal with the, oh crap, I have to be at work, but I don't have any vacation and I don't have any sick leave, but the kid's sick and I have to take, I have to do something about it. For the most part, she skirted that one. So, which probably made it easier for the kids, right? It probably made it to where, at least for the most part, we were able to do stuff. There was a few things in the beginning where, when one of the kids would get sick because they were younger when we started all this, and they would call mommy and it would be on my day and they'd say, sorry, call your dad, not my day. Can you imagine doing that? It's like your kids are going through a nightmare anyways, but I could understand if your kid calls you on their day and then you call them and say, hey, Billy, or hey, Barbara, Johnny called out, Johnny's sick at school, I'm going to go ahead and pick him up and you can pick him up after work or something. I could see if the other person says, no, that's my day, I'll take care of it. They can, whatever. I guess I could get that. But to turn around and have your kid call you and be like, nope, sorry, I'm at home, I'm not doing anything, but I can't get you. So here I am, 7 years, 260 some odd days since this whole ordeal started, and she's working, and it's like, how do I feel about it? And I feel kind of numb on it, right? It's like, wow, finally it's happened, but it's not like I'm in this mode to immediately go run off to court and try to change things. I did do some numbers yesterday. It looks like it would save me a few $100 in child support, which would be really helpful. Almost, actually, the funny part is almost the rent increase, which is crazy. But my point on this is that as we start to change our priority, as we start to realize what's really important, what's not important, this type of stuff doesn't really get to you anymore. The feeling that you're still being abused and you're still being taken advantage of, that's better word of it, taken advantage of. It's just like you look at it in the context of what, how does it affect my life, right? How does this fight affect, my today and my tomorrow? And when you get to that point, when you get to the point where you're more focused on making your life as good as possible, the less you're focused on, making them feel pain or making them accountable or making them have to deal with the consequences of their actions. The reality is they're going to deal, the consequences are coming. People who are toxic and people who are, effectively bad people, they are just going to keep drawing stuff to themselves. It's just like that cone of chaos is just going to continue to suck in negative, energy or negativity. And we can be a part of that, or we can choose to focus on other things. And I think you also have to be aware that anytime you dip your toe in the narcissist vortex of hell, there is a good chance you're going to get sucked into that and have it affect you. Sometimes we have to. Sometimes we have to do that, and I get it. But you really have to pick your battles, and you really have to decide what to do. Like, for instance, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Probably I'll wait a few weeks. Maybe I'll chat with an attorney. I probably will definitely chat with our friend Alex Falcone from The Proper Person to get his take on some of this, and then ultimately decide what is it worth to do on the next step on this. And if you're in the early parts of this and you're still really attached and really frustrated and really bitter and angry, which you have every right to be. I mean, I'm not saying that that's not a valid feeling, because it absolutely is. But what I will say is that that hold that they have over you and those emotions and what you're feeling right now is a response to what you've gone through right now. Again, I'll make a quick analogy. It's like if I hurt myself, if I broke my leg right now, it's going to seriously hurt. And as it mends and as I get better on it, it will hurt less. You know, sure, there may be phantom pains and there may be all that type of stuff as we go on, but it gets better. And the same thing is true in these situations. It does get better. You do heal from it, and you do start to realize what is important to put your time toward and what isn't. So, anyways, hopefully you're having a good day, and I will catch you on the next video. Take care.